Higher education be damned. Department of Education. New lead, confirmed. Linda McMahon. There will be, chaos to come. Here it is.
What about educational programming centered around specific ethnic and racial experiences? My son is in a public school. He takes a class called African American History. If you're running an African American history class, could you perhaps be in violation of this court order, of this executive order?
I'm not quite certain, and I'd like to look into it further and get back to you on that.
So there's a possibility. You're saying, that public schools that run African American history classes, right? This is a class that has been taught in public schools for decades, could lose federal funding if they continue to teach African American history.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I would like to take a look at these programs and fully understand the breadth of the executive order and get back to you on that.
You're supposed to know. You're applying for the job. You're supposed to understand these things in the context of your role. There's more.
You have been named in a lawsuit, which alleges that you and your husband allowed for systemic and pervasive abuse of underage children to persist in your business for years. It is an ongoing lawsuit, and it alleges that you rehired a known sexual predator and you felt it was sufficient to simply direct him to steer clear of children. If confirmed, you will be responsible with overseeing the Department of Education Office of Civil Rights, charged with ensuring equal access to education through vigorous enforcement of civil rights laws. I am so concerned about whether sexual assault survivors on campus can trust you to support them.
They certainly can trust me to support them. I have a granddaughter that is now in college. I have 2 grandsons who are in college. And I have a deep commitment of understanding of how I would feel if any of them were involved in sexual harassment or accused of sexual harassment.
It's a damn shame. Put it up. This position was purchased, just like the dropped investigation into her husband, Mr. McMahon, purchased. In an update, the Senate voted Monday to confirm former wrestling executive Linda McMahon as the nation's education chief, a role that places her at the top of the department that President Donald Trump has vilified and vowed to, dismantle. The Senate voted to confirm McMahon 51-45. McMahon will face the competing task of winding down the education department while also escalating efforts to achieve Trump's agenda. Already, the Republican president has signed sweeping orders to rid America's schools of diversity programs and accommodations for transgender students, while also calling for expanded school choice programs. At the same time, Trump has promised to shut down the department and said he wants McMahon to put herself out of a job. That's a quote. McMahon is a longtime Trump ally who left WWE in 2009 to launch a political career, running unsuccessfully twice for the U.S. Senate. She has given millions of dollars to Trump's campaigns and served as leader of the Small Business Administration during his first term, the SBA. Weeks after McMahon's confirmation hearing, the White House was considering weeks before McMahon's confirmation hearing, the White House was considering an executive order that would direct the education secretary to cut the agency as much as legally possible while asking Congress to shut it down completely. Some of McMahon's allies pressed the White House to hold the order until after her confirmation to avoid potential backlash. All political, has nothing to do with people. Meanwhile, announced on his Truth Social site, quote, all federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protest. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No mask. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That sounds American to you? Does that sound like freedom to you? Does that sound like decency? Here's what's happening. All of these social ills of America, they have not been healed. They have not been healed. They have not been dealt with adequately. They have not been dealt with directly. And so what are you seeing? You are seeing the emergence of all of these ills coming right back to the forefront. Why? Because they were never dealt with properly in the first place. I know this seems to be dire, but this is a great opportunity. It is a great opportunity to face those wounds that were never healed properly in this nation. He's bringing them all to the forefront along with his allies who are bigots, yes. Money hungry, corrupt cowards, absolutely. But they are the product. They are the product. They are not the source. This country created what you see today. And it gives those who are carriers of light, meaning knowledge and information and truth, carriers of light, the opportunity to banish the darkness once and forever. I'm talking about people who don't give a damn about your progress or don't give a damn about your surviving. They don't. It should be clear. Do you think they care about veterans? No. Do you think they care about women and children? No. Do you think they care about life? No. Do you think they care about babies? No. Do you think they care about your jobs? No. Your economy? No. What is it left? At some point, you're going to have to realize that as they take, and take, they will eventually, if you're still here, take from you, if they haven't done so already. It's time to fight back. And we fight back through this amazing tool known as the people. It's a democracy for a reason. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
What went on with WWE, Linda McMahon and her husband is horrific. You've covered it on this show multiple times. Some of it is irrefutable. It's just irrefutable. So let's cut the nonsense here, okay? Any woman who stands by and allows such filth, and that's the only conclusion that can be drawn from some of this, doesn't belong in this position. And the question's a fair one. Her answer was a lie. We can't count on her to protect women. And we can't count on her to protect those who should be benefiting from an equal opportunity in education. Bought and paid for. I don't even know why these people are so narcissistic and egotistical that they demand these positions. Is it that big of a deal to serve like kings and queens and look down on people? Why does she want this so badly? Spend your money, go do fake wrestling, and leave us alone.
And that becomes the question. Why do they want these positions? Well, there may be a more diabolical plan at play to privatize the government so they can make another windfall of millions. We shall see.